You know the scenes, the lines, the faces. But did you know which director almost got fired? Or which star improvised a line that became iconic? Studios tried to shut some of these down before they hit the screen. Now Hollywood's all franchises. They just don't make movies like this anymore. Here are 10 groundbreaking films that changed Hollywood forever. The Graduate, 1967.
Hello, Benjamin.
Hello, Mrs. Robinson.
Dustin Hoffman walked into the audition sweating, stammering, sure he'd blown his one shot. The studio wanted a traditional heartthrob, somebody tall, polished, smooth. Mike Nichols saw something different. He picked Hoffman, the awkward outsider. Nobody in Hollywood thought that was a good idea. This was the era of perfect smiles and square jaws. Hoffman wasn't that guy. He thought the call was a mistake. On set, Hoffman's nerves never really left. He stumbled through takes, unsure if he belonged. You watch those scenes. He's lost, tense, always on edge. It wasn't acting. It was just Hoffman out of his depth, and Nichols ran with it. Suddenly, awkward became the new cool. This movie flipped the script. Ben Braddock was uncertain, caught between childhood and adulthood, making it up as he went. The whole thing hit like a lightning bolt. Young people saw themselves on screen for the first time, confused, insecure, wanting out. Older audiences weren't sure what to make of it. The Graduate cost about $3 million to make, pulled in over $100 million at the box office. The soundtrack, Simon and Garfunkel, became legendary. And overnight, studios started looking for the next outsider. Hollywood's idea of a leading man? Never the same. Nichols and Hoffman rewrote the playbook. Now the underdog, awkward, honest, a little lost, was finally allowed to win. Bonnie and Clyde, 1967.
We robbed banks.
Censors and critics lost their minds over this one. Too much blood, too much style, too far for 1960s Hollywood. Arthur Penn's crew knew the risk. Blacklists were still a thing. Warren Beatty didn't flinch. He doubled down, pushed for more violence, more realism, more chaos. The shootout at the end? No movie had gone that far before. People walked out of early screenings. Some called it disgusting. Others said it was brilliant. The studio wanted to cut it down. Penn fought to keep every frame. The budget wasn't huge, just under $3 million. But when the dust settled, Bonnie and Clyde pulled in over $70 million at the box office. That's not just a hit, that's a tidal wave for the era. You watch Bonnie and Clyde now, it's almost tame. But back then, it felt like a punch. Squibs, slow motion, people getting torn apart. Nobody had seen action shot like this. It was glamorous and brutal at the same time. Bank robbers as anti-heroes, not just crooks. Gene Hackman, Faye Dunaway, they brought real heat. And after those numbers came in, every studio wanted their own violent hit. Hollywood's old filter on screen violence? Broken for good. Movies started taking bigger risks. Penn and Beatty proved you could be bold, get loud, and still make money. After this, nobody could put the brakes on Hollywood's wild side. Easy Rider, 1969. Hopper and Fonda weren't faking it. They really rode across America. No permits, no rules, just open road. Most of the time, they were actually getting high in those scenes. Nothing staged. They shot in real towns, crashed at cheap motels, and blew the last of their budget just to finish that wild, unforgettable ending. Nobody in Hollywood believed this movie would work. Studios turned them down, said nobody wanted to see bikers and drifters. Then Jack Nicholson got thrown into the mix. Wasn't supposed to be in it, but stole every scene. The movie cost about $400 grand, made over $60 million at the box office. Easy Rider didn't just make money, it changed everything. Suddenly, every studio wanted a piece of youth culture. Directors tried to copy the freedom, the risk, the sense that anything could happen on screen. The soundtrack, the locations, even the way it was shot, everybody wanted that energy. You look at modern indie movies, road films, outsider stories, you see Easy Rider's fingerprints all over them. And if you want the purest follow-up, go watch Two Lane Blacktop, one of the most underrated car movies ever, and a straight-up homage to Easy Rider. Total risk, total reward. Hollywood never saw it coming. And honestly, they've been chasing that high ever since. Midnight Cowboy, 1969. This was never supposed to win anything, let alone Best Picture. The studio saw it as an art film, maybe too dirty for daylight. You figure Oscar movies play it safe, but Midnight Cowboy didn't care about safe. Hoffman and Voight dragged New York's mess onto the screen. Slums, hustlers, broken dreams. Every shot, real street, no sets, no polish. Executives panicked. They wanted the language cleaned up, violence toned down. Schlesinger told them no. He kept everything sharp. Hoffman and Voight cross a street. A cab misses its mark, almost hits them for real. Hoffman bangs the hood, shouts, "I'm walking here!"
Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here! Up yours!
That line wasn't in the script. It happened. They kept rolling, and it became the heartbeat of the movie. Absolute genius. You watch it, and you know you're seeing something nobody planned and nobody could repeat. Hoffman kept improvising, especially in that hotel scene. Voight stayed in character. No breaks, just living in it. The soundtrack was simple. Guitar, city noise, nothing sweet. The Academy voted. Nobody saw it coming. Midnight Cowboy is still the only X-rated film to take Best Picture. Cost just over $3 million. Made 44. Suddenly, Taboo was Oscar material. After that, studios started chasing risk. Real locations, adult themes, characters who barely hold it together. Every gritty drama since, look for the fingerprints. Midnight Cowboy proved the underground could win. Hollywood's never stopped chasing that feeling. The Wild Bunch, 1969.
30 days to get Pike or 30 days back to Yuma. You're my Judas goat, Mr. Thornton.
Peckinpah took the old western and blew it up. Real blood, real stunts, real bodies dropping everywhere. This wasn't the clean, black and white West your dad remembered. Studio heads nearly canned him, said it was too much, too violent, too dirty. Critics howled about the blood and slow-motion mayhem, but ticket sales went through the roof. Audiences had never seen anything like it. Outlaws gunning each other down, nobody riding off into the sunset clean. You watch it now and the violence still hits. Bodies flying, dust in the air, no heroes left standing. Peckinpah didn't fake anything. He wanted it raw. Gunfire, chaos, the kind of lawlessness nobody put on screen before. Every studio took notice. Suddenly, every action director wanted in on the chaos. Slow-motion gunfights, bigger explosions, more grit. TV shows copied the look. Hollywood learned that shock value could sell tickets. Sometimes a lot of tickets. This one changed the rules for action. From here on, the line between hero and villain got thinner. Big set pieces, broken codes, everyone out for themselves. Studios chased that feeling. Edgy, dangerous, unpredictable. You watch any action movie now, you can trace it back to this one. Peckinpah's risk paid off. Hollywood never went back. Chinatown, 1974.
To start to leave again to go look at the moon, she looks at him and says, "Hey, what's the matter with you? You're screwing just like a Chinaman."
Paramount lost sleep over Chinatown, swore it would tank. The budget hovered around $6 million, and execs wanted something safe to recoup it. What they got was Polanski tearing up the script, rewriting the ending on set, clashing with actors, firing crew, burning through money and nerves. Faye Dunaway and Jack Nicholson barely talked off camera. The set was ice. Nobody trusted anybody. Studio heads begged for a happy ending, but Polanski wouldn't budge. He shot what he wanted. A gut punch nobody in Hollywood had the guts to touch. Everyone thought they were heading for a flop. But Chinatown opened and made almost $30 million, 5 times what they put in. Critics lost their cynicism. Suddenly, bleak was in style. After that, every studio tried to cash in on broken dreams and slow-burn corruption. Noir wasn't just a throwback anymore, now it was the future. That last scene, no way a modern studio would let it fly. Polanski and Evans didn't just save the movie, they changed the temperature in every boardroom in town. Hollywood's still ripping pages from Chinatown's playbook. Want to know how to leave an audience in shock? Credits rolling? Start here. If you're digging these untold film stories, hit subscribe to VintageVerse. There's a lot more behind-the-scenes Hollywood chaos coming. Don't miss it. Mean Streets, 1973. Martin Scorsese gambled everything on Mean Streets. No backup plan, no big studio check. Putting his own life on film. Family, friends, the neighborhood, Catholic guilt hanging over every decision. Studios turned him down. Nobody wanted to bankroll a story about small-time hoods and street priests, so he scraped together cash from whoever would help. Most of it was shot in real bars and borrowed apartments with no permits. Just pure city noise leaking into every scene, and you can feel the desperation. De Niro wasn't famous yet, but he showed up raw and unpredictable, pushing every line, while Harvey Keitel held it together.
Hey, Michael doesn't care if you're depressed. What is he, your priest? What do you come out going shopping when you owe somebody money, Johnny? That ain't right. What are you talking? How much you got, Charlie? I'm gonna pay him next week. I'm gonna pay you. You're going.
Scorsese let them go off script, capturing what real guys sounded like after midnight. No gloss, no Hollywood tough guy cliches, just people trying to make it out without losing their soul. Here's something you don't see in the credits. Scorsese's own mother, Catherine, cooked meals for the cast and crew when the money ran out, turning her kitchen into a safe spot where everyone could unwind between takes. You can feel that sense of family in every rough-edge scene. Nobody in the business thought this movie would matter. It didn't win big, didn't storm the Oscars, but it changed the rules for every crime film that came after. Suddenly, you didn't need mob bosses or big shootouts, just tension, guilt, and truth. Every gritty gangster film you've seen since owes something to Mean Streets. Scorsese didn't invent the genre, but after this, everyone had to step up their game. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Trying to say I'm queer? Is that it? Little Marianne? Little Marjorie Jane? On the street? Huh? Is that it? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Nicholson walked onto a real psych ward. No soundstage, no Hollywood safety net. Most of the extras you see? Actual patients. No actors faking it in the background. The crew lived on site for weeks, ate in the cafeteria, slept in old hospital rooms, got used to the same alarms and routines as everyone else. Michael Douglas put his reputation and his money on the line to get this thing made. Foreman, the director, shot it like nobody cared about the rules. No slick lighting, no overdone drama, just the blunt reality of institutional life. Nurse Ratched wasn't some cartoon villain. Louise Fletcher played her as cold, calm, untouchable. Jack Nicholson didn't hold back. He broke things on set, shouted when he felt like it. He played McMurphy as a guy who'd rather burn the place down than give up. Most of what you see on screen came from letting the cast react. No rehearsals, no hand-holding. This movie cleaned up at the Oscars. Best Picture, Actor, Actress, Director, Screenplay. Nobody saw that coming. But you look back and you see why it worked. It's not comfortable, not slick, not easy to watch. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest didn't just win awards, it changed what Hollywood thought was possible. Nobody would risk it today. Taxi Driver, 1976. Schrader wrote the script in a haze, broke, barely sleeping, putting every ugly thought on paper. You watch it now, but back then it was just pages nobody wanted. De Niro went all in. Took real cab shifts in New York, 12 hours at a time, picked up strangers, kept his mouth shut, got inside the head of Travis Bickle before anyone even rolled camera. Nobody at the studio trusted what Scorsese was making. They wanted changes. Cut the blood. Tone down the ending. Scorsese refused. The final shootout nearly got the movie banned, so they changed the color of the blood, made it darker, just to sneak past the ratings board. Jodie Foster was 12, cast in a role that made people nervous on set. That "you talking to me" scene? Nobody wrote it. De Niro improvised, alone in front of a mirror.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Hollywood wasn't ready for it, but the line stuck anyway. You don't root for Bickle, you watch him spiral, trapped in his own head. That's what made Taxi Driver different. Gritty movies have tried to catch up ever since. It's not about the violence or the city, it's the paranoia, the loneliness, the way Scorsese made it all feel real. After Taxi Driver, Hollywood couldn't go back. The Godfather, 1972.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Coppola almost got fired every week on The Godfather, no exaggeration. Studio heads hated Brando. Thought Pacino was a mistake. They wanted a quick, cheap crime flick. Nothing serious, nothing complicated. But Coppola pushed back, every single day. The studio sent spies to the set, kept tabs on everything, second-guessed every choice. It got wild. Real-life mobsters dropped by just to see if they were being made fun of. The cast got nervous. Crew kept their mouths shut. Brando stuffed cotton in his cheeks to sound older. Brando didn't even show up for the Oscars, sent Sachin Littlefeather in his place as a protest for how Hollywood treated American Indians. The audience booed, some cheered, but nobody forgot it. That's how wild things were. The Godfather shook up movies, and Brando shook up the whole industry. Pacino played it quiet, almost got himself fired before the cameras were done rolling. Coppola told everyone, "Trust me." Most of them didn't. You can see the tension on screen. When it hit theaters, it didn't just win awards. It reset the game. Every crime saga since has tried to match its blend of power and intimacy. Most have failed. The Godfather taught studios that grown-up stories could sell tickets. It made murky morality a box office hook. You look at prestige TV dramas, gangster series, even hit comedies, echoes of this movie are everywhere. They tried to copy its playbook. They couldn't, because no one's got the guts of Coppola, the weight of Brando's voice, or Pacino's quiet fire. Hollywood hasn't seen that kind of gamble since. And honestly, they probably don't know how to pull it off again. That's the story behind 10 films that didn't play it safe and changed Hollywood for good. Maybe you've seen them 100 times, but you've never seen the chaos behind the curtain. If you want more hidden stories and lost legends, subscribe to VintageVerse. There's a lot more history left in the vault. Stick around, because they really don't make them like this anymore.